Hey, welcome to Film vs. Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Chris Shurr.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and forced to marry an insect by public opinion. And one of us tells you why it's actually pretty good.
And the other one's going to tell you why it's a steaming pile of shit.
And today, we have a special guest with us. You can check her out on Dead Teen House Party on Moonshot. Please welcome Neassa Hunt.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And would you do the honors of telling everyone the movie we're debating today?
All right. Picture this. It's 2015 and you've just gotten back from college and the first movie you go see is done by George Lucas. You must be thinking, what, a Star Wars? No, he had a fairy theme, a Shakespeare fairy rock opera that was in like production hell stuck for like 15 years and they finally got it made. And it's pretty okay.
What's it called, Neassa?
Right? Shit. It's called Strange Magic.
Yeah. When Disney bought the rights for Star Wars, it just got lumped in there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought it right there. So I think genuinely the only reason it got out of production hell was because he's like, granted, I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is the thing, but if I was him, I'd be like, okay, you want to buy all my Star Wars? Make my fairy movie that I've been trying to make for 15 years.
Yeah.
My kids are aging out of this fast.
He's like, my daughter loved this movie when it was told to them in bed. Like,
Yeah, like in sports terms, it feels like the equivalent of like, all right, you want this trade to work, you also have to take this player we have on the roster who's on a max contract and averages 2 points a game.
Oh, sports.
Getting into the plot line of Strange Magic. So we're introduced into this magic woodlands where it's divided into the fairy kingdom and dark forest. We come across the princess fairy, Marianne, and she sees her fiance, Roland, kissing another woman. And then she vows to never fall in love again. Meanwhile,
you forgot she puts on a real cunty smoky eye makeup.
Yep.
She changes her whole look and looks a lot like she looks good. Like, yeah, it works for her.
Yeah, it is this whole makeover. Honestly, during the makeover, I'm not sure if you remember this one clip from Powerpuff Girls where Bubbles is like, I'm gonna be hardcore. That's all I could think of.
Yeah, it's not inaccurate. She just puts on blueberry eyeshadow and she's like, and now I hate men.
Yeah. Also, is that just like magic eyeshadow? Because they just like smack that on and it's automatically perfecally shaded,
I think it's like animated. It's animated magic.
It's like when people, like put like in a cartoon, like open up a can of beans and like. I'm trying to remember, it's cartoon logic,
Yeah. It's like that one scene from Mulan where she just wipes her makeup clean on one swipe. Every woman's like, it's never come off that easy.
No.
I've been shoving berries into my eyes for the past 5 years, and I can say it does not come out looking that good.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing wrong.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, in the Dark Kingdom, the Bog King hates love and prevents this love potion from getting made so that no one can fall in love again.
To be fair, you can fall in love outside of the potion. Like granted, he specifically has like a anti-love stance for his kingdom, but he's not technically in the fairy kingdom, you can fall in love and shit.
I'm gonna be honest. He had a pretty good point there. He's like, look, it's just no.
Yeah, it's like the idea of a love potion is bad. He got to the right conclusion through the wrong reasoning, though.
He like roofied a girl and it didn't work, and then he was like, roofing's bad.
Honestly, considering we went to go see Obsession last weekend. Obsession, Strange Magic back to back wasn't a mind fuck, but it was a mind think.
I was like, if they make that fairy start pissing and shitting on herself.
All right.
This George Lucas kids movie is about to take a dark turn.
Yeah.
Oh, George Lucas or Obsession was just doing strange magic without the singing. Oh.
Yeah, without the singing, without the woodland fairy vibe. So back in Fairy Kingdom, we meet Marianne's sister Dawn and her elf friend Sunny, who's in love with her. And after failing to win back Marianne at the ball, Roland convinces Sunny to go into the dark forest to get a love potion made. So he goes into the forest with the guy of an imp. Sunny goes into Bog King's lair for the sugar fairy so that she can make the potion. She agrees if he frees her, but then during the escape, she's recaptured. But Sunny gets away.
Fairies aren't very serious people. Like, she was just singing her way out of the prison. Like,
yeah, like it was a very not careful escape. She's singing the whole time, and Sunny's like, "Hey, you should probably quiet down before they find you." Like, like not only are you loud, you glow. You're very easy to find.
Honestly, if I could fly like that, I also might be cocky in that way.
yeah. I don't know how she gets caught. She's like very nimble.
So at the elf dance, Sunny attempts to use the potion on Dawn, but when the Bog King comes in and captures her in a sack before she has the chance to look at anyone for the potion to take effect, and the Bog King tells everyone he'll give her back once they give him the love potion. And back in his lair, the Bog King ends up being the first person Dawn sees, so she falls in love with him. Which is just annoying to him. Like, it's not an obstacle in the plot. He's just like, all right, this is a nuisance.
It is an obstacle for Marianne, because when she shows up right after that to be like, I'm taking my sister, she's like, her sister is like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm in love with the king. And he's like, well, looks like your sister's stuck here until you get me my goddamn potion back.
Yeah, speaking of which, when Marianne gets there, her and the Bog King bond over their mutual hatred of love. And the Sugar Fairy reveals that the only thing that can cure the potion is true love, which both of them hate. As they fall for each other, Roland and the army arrive to return the potion. And there's a subsequent fight because the Bog King's like, why'd you bring a whole army for this? Which, fair.
But when Roland also had been planning on killing the king and sieging power the whole time.
Yeah, but Roland's not the best planner.
He's not. No. Also, I was telling Chris about this when we were watching the movie, where I was like, okay, step 1, destroy the castle. Step 2, kill the king. Step 3, profit. Like, clearly there was a queen, and now the Bog King is king. So after he dies, I know he doesn't have progeny, but like I'm assuming some kind of Bog cousin is king now. Like, Roland doesn't automatically become king because he killed the king.
Yeah. Also, like, if they want to take over, what are they going to do with the Dark Forest? As far as I can tell, the Dark Forest is just where they send the ugly people.
Yeah. There's a pretty big like appearance discrepancy between the Fairy Kingdom and the Dark Forest.
Not all of them. In the Fairy Kingdom, there's not a ton of them, but they have the fairies and they have elves. And then they have like those unnamed, they're like little rock people. The rock people were pretty similar to some of the lizard people. I'm like, you are small and lumpy.
Okay,
yeah. True.
But I also think there might be something going on with them class-wise.
Yeah, they definitely have like a slave class.
Like the king has wings and he got carried in a chair.
Yeah, but by other people with wings. And there's no elves at the formal ball, but there are elves at the elf fair. But there's no little rock people at the elf fair. So do they get a rock person fair? Where does their stuff go?
They actually get a recital.
Okay, of course.
It's only 30 minutes long, and then they have to go back to work.
Exactly. If I was them, I'd be so pissed that I'm not allowed. Granted, I'll have to rewatch the scene. Maybe they are there in the background, but I didn't fucking see them. I'd be so pissed if I wasn't allowed to go to the goddamn fair, though. I'm like, there's a Ferris wheel.
The rock people are actually just there as tables they set the food on.
Yeah. I wonder if the rocks are like tiny Sasquatches. I think they might have been hairy, but they were lumpy.
Where were we with this? Oh, yeah. Subsequent fight. In that fight, the Bog King and Mary and go after Roland when he tries to use the potion on her. The damage collapses the lair. Bog ends up sacrificing himself for Marianne. Dawn's love for Sunny breaks the spell. Bog King emerges from the rubble. Roland successfully uses the potion on Marianne, but it doesn't work because she's in love with the Bog King. Everyone gets together happily ever after.
Yay!
And then there's this mid-credit scene where not the Bog King, where Roland comes back because someone threw a potion at him, and he's now in love with this insect.
Oh,
We missed that one.
Missed that.
I
We
forgot.
turned it off.
Yeah, we turned it off. I had to go. I didn't want to get stuck at a Joji concert.
And it's funny because, like, honestly, I noticed it because I was just taking notes on the plot while watching, and so while I was typing, I was just like, "Hey, is Roland dead?" And then he popped back up on the screen.
Yeah, no, it's a kids' movie. No, well, I was gonna say no one ever dies, but people explicitly die in like Tarzan. And shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just one of those things, like how Nickelodeon wouldn't let Avatar say the word dead or die, so they had to come up with creative ways around it.
Yeah, they were almost worse.
It had consequences, at least.
Yeah.
And it was somewhat in character for Aang. And it came back to haunt him.
Yeah. All right. So this film was directed by Gary Rydstrom, and this is his only credited feature as a director. He's directed 4 other animated shorts, and he mainly works as a sound designer. He's had a long career that he's worked on the Jurassic Park movies, Top Gun Maverick, and most recently Disclosure Day.
It's all come back round.
Yeah.
I was just saying before we started recording, where I was like, if I'd known how bad Disclosure Day was, I would have made us do Disclosure Day, just as to torture everyone, including myself.
And there are 3 credited writers for his movie. One of them is Rydstrom. Another is David Berenbaum, who mostly works on family films. He's also done Elf and the Spiderwick Chronicles. And the last credited writer is Irene Mechi, who's done a lot with Disney animation. She's a credited writer on The Lion King, Hercules, and Brave.
Okay.
As mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, it's based on a story written by George Lucas. This is a longtime passion project of his. The film was in development while they were making the Star Wars prequels. And in an interview, he said he made it for his daughters. Quote, Star Wars was for 12-year-old boys. This is for 12-year-old girls. And he originally was planning to have a lot of Beatles songs in them, but they couldn't afford all that.
I would really love to see they let them make, what's that movie where that guy forgets about the entire world forgets about Beatles songs?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I know all the Beatles songs, and then he becomes famous. I would, like, if you let the Beatles songs happen for that shitty movie. I don't know if that movie was shitty. No offense. Sorry if you were in Yesterday. But
I heard it was all right.
okay, well, it doesn't seem like a great plot in general. Let George Lucas do a Bog King thing with your Beatles songs, Beatles.
I don't think I mentioned this, but this movie is a jukebox musical. For those who don't know what that is, basically all the songs in there were not made specifically for this movie. They were songs that already existed. And so think things like Mamma Mia, Across the Universe, Pitch Perfect.
Trolls 3.
Specifically Trolls 3 and not the other ones.
Also Trolls 2 and Trolls 1.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Trolls movie, so I wasn't confident about listing that
It'd be
one.
crazy if they had a genre switch.
Yeah.
Third movie in.
I don't know if Chris told you this, but when she was first like, do you want to come do the podcast? I was like, what's the exact Rotten Tomatoes score that we need? And she said something like 65, I want to say.
Yeah, 60.
I don't know, but then
That's really high for this podcast.
Yeah, that's why we talked it down, because I found out that the Trolls 3, which is my favorite movie of all time, and as much as I love this podcast and you two, there's one thing I love more, and it's forcing people to watch Trolls 3. I found out that Trolls 3 has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, 1 point, it just makes it. And Chris was like, no, we need something like, not like, let's lower, and then that's when I went from that to Strange Magic.
Yeah, usually when we ask a guest for their suggestions, we just give them a maximum Letterboxd score.
Yeah, I don't know what the Letterboxd score is for Trolls 3 off the top of my head.
Yeah,
It's probably not good. People are very harsh on Letterboxd.
Well, because Letterboxd is where like all the pretentious people go.
Yeah, I was reading a bunch of movie reviews for some movie, and it was like people were writing like, "So good I came, 3 stars," and I'm like, "Out of 3?" And they're like, "No, out of 5," and I'm like, what does 4 stars have to do?
Oh yeah, Letterboxd, because people, no one uses Letterboxd consistently. I'll see stuff on there where it's like, this is my favorite movie of all time, 3 stars. And then also reviews that are just dogging on it, and it's like 5 stars. And I'll ask people, it's just like, why is this 5 stars? And they're like, I give everything 5 stars unless I don't like it. Then it's a half star.
I respect that more than I respect 3 stars.
They're doing the old Uber tactic where I'll give every single Uber driver, regardless of what their performance was, 5 stars.
Unless something horrible happens.
Unless there's like a break-off point, in which case I will give them a lower amount of stars.
Yeah. Okay. So
I once killed a guy and he still gave me 5 stars. I once almost killed a guy in traffic and he still gave me 5 stars. He was like, hey, I don't need to be where I'm going that fast.
Exactly. Well, he got to his location, so
yeah.
You did your job.
Yeah, all right. So back with Strange Magic. So this was being developed under Lucasfilms when Disney bought Lucasfilms for the rights to Star Wars in 2012. This just came with it. And so Disney really decided to just make it a January dump. They're like, we got Star Wars. We don't need this animated movie. We're just going to get rid of it.
That's why I saw it, because I'd just gotten back from college. Yeah. And I was on not spring break, but that weird gap in January where you're not back at college yet and you have like a month to just do nothing.
Yeah.
Except for go to the movies.
Yeah, but this film was released January 23rd, 2015. I couldn't find an exact budget, but its budget is estimated to be between $70 and $100 million. It only made $13.6 million at the box office.
Well, that's on them for putting it in January.
Yeah. It has a Rotten Tomato score of 19% and a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
I think 5.8 is harsh, but is more appropriate than 19%. 19% feels really harsh.
That's the thing about IMDb. I feel like a lot of people only leave reviews when they feel strongly one way or another.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the U.S. Indianapolis movie, I think that has like 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Did you feel that this was as good or worse as USS Indianapolis? With their CG sharks and whatnot?
Oh. So the issue for me was USS Indianapolis was like a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then the sharks were so fucking jarring that it was an 18. I think this should be like a 45.
Yeah, like I would say Strange Magic is fundamentally a better movie. USS Indianapolis is much more memorable though.
USS Indianapolis had some like really amazing parts to it. And then you're like, oh, I guess this isn't so bad. And then like Sharknado happens for 30 seconds straight. You're like, oh, this is hot trash. Like they should have just not included the sharks.
Well, now it's time for our opening statements. Chris will be defending the film and I will be attacking. If this is your first time hearing of this new fantasy world created by George Lucas, that means a Disney executive earned their bonus that year. While Strange Magic has a fresh concept, its lack of anything substantial prevents it from feeling truly original.
Strange Magic is an action-packed jukebox musical with heart. It contains within it the nuances of romantic love that aren't normally present in children's animated movies. If you don't like this movie, you don't like love.
I was really hoping you were going to say Strange Magic has a strange magic about it.
That would have been, that honestly would have been a better opening sentence.
Yeah, honestly, while writing my opening, I was just like, all right, what's the pun with Strange Magic? And I didn't get it. Neassa, any initial thoughts about this film?
I will say it's like a good amount of time, It's actually, that's not true. It drags a little bit at the end.
And I don't know.
I wish the ending number was stronger, but
yeah.
This is a movie for weird little girls everywhere. And if we lived in a better world, there would be a Strange Magic too. And this would have done gangbusters.
Yeah, I will say it's set in a world where you definitely could make more stories out of this, but I also feel like that's because the world is just extremely simple.
Yeah.
Like you just have a forest. It's divided right down the middle, essentially ugly and pretty people. And like the dark forest is not well maintained. Apparently, rain just doesn't go to that half of the forest.
No, they've got rain. They've got all those dewdrops on all their things.
Then why are all the plants dead?
They're not dead.
They're not all of them. They have an interesting ecosystem. A lot of the trees are dead, I will say that, but there's lots of ferns and other things, mushrooms.
They really went with the theme.
Yeah.
The Bog King has been making his he had it made that way.
I think it's like two different halves, like almost. Have either of you seen My Little Pony?
No.
Okay, well, one very specific subset of your audience might enjoy this. Everyone else will not, including you two. In My Little Pony, there's like this whole thing where they have like their area, which is like this perfectly manicured everything. Like even the weather is like artificially made and like changed on schedule. And then the forest is this like fucked up weird place that nobody goes to except for a zebra. So one random episode, somebody's talking like, oh, like it's so weird, and someone else is like, why is it weird? Why is it weird that like trees are just allowed to grow and we're not like controlling every aspect of it? I think that's it. It's just the fairy kingdom. Everything is like, we make flowers and we clear things and like we control every aspect of our environment. And the scary side is just like, yeah, we let trees do whatever the hell they want. They're trees. That's how I think it does. It's like this natural area just likes ferns and shit. So that's what grows.
Yeah, I mean, they do have like easy to follow rules. I just feel like there aren't great consequences because like everyone on the fairy side is told to never go into the dark forest, but like nothing really happens to them when they do. And
Well, I mean, one of them did threaten to pluck their wings and eat them, eat the fairies. So I think there may be like a solid reason not to go in there. They just didn't want to show a fairy being harvested.
Okay, but if it's that serious, why do they just fall in there all the time? They play next to the border constantly.
Like I told you, they're very unserious.
That is true. They should put up a fence or something, but they're busy hosts. There's a ball every 2 weeks, Belton. There's no time to put up a fence. We have to get ready for the spring cotillion, and then after that, the mustard ball.
Yeah, these are silly creatures that like to have fun. I don't think they've ever thought of a consequence in their entire life.
Yeah. Well, and I think also there might be some conflict because we do clearly see that one of the Bog King subjects is willing to eat one of the fairies. I think they're allowed to eat each other over there.
Yeah. I mean, also, I have this in my notes that the king's clearly a racist.
Is he?
Is he?
Like, okay, so at the end of the movie, when
the king, I think you meant the Bog King. I was
no, Bog King, by the end of the movie, Bog King's cool.
Oh yeah, the king's a fucked up person.
Yeah, because like at the end of the movie, when his two daughters are getting together with different people, he's like, an elf? Him? Like he has the reaction of a white dad upset his daughter brought home a black boyfriend.
He has exactly that. Because she brought him a black elf.
Well, he kept also being like, you should stay with the cheater.
Yeah, exactly. The white blonde cheater.
I do wish they'd given more reason for like why. I mean, he says like he's like, oh, I don't want you to be alone. I'm like, surely there must be at least one other man somewhere in this kingdom.
Nope, it's just him and the king.
Yeah, it's like the rest of the army are intentionally sterile.
It would make more sense if he's like, well, he's his father's the king of the other half of Fairy Kingdom, so we're trying to unite the two halves or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, in that sense, it would make more sense for her to get with the Bog King so they could unite the forest.
Well, yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah.
She even said at the beginning, she's like, I'm going to unite the forest.
Yeah, against her dad's will.
Yeah.
Well,
good.
When she's queen, they will, he'll be dead, so.
He's got bad values.
Yeah.
All right, but I mean, going off of that, the film storyline completely focuses on love, and I do feel like it misses out by not addressing other aspects of really anyone's character. Because at the beginning, they try to present Marianne's flaw as like her hatred of love stops her from like working with other people, but that's not something she seems to suffer from. If anything, like her constantly caring for her sister just keeps getting her into trouble.
I mean, that's something. It keeps getting her into trouble. But also being overbearing as a sister, you can't do that forever.
Yeah, but again, like I'm not saying that can't be a flaw. I'm just saying like it's not really presented as one this story because it's not something she really has to overcome at any point.
That is fair.
Yeah, I guess so.
Counterpoint. She's got great eyeshadow.
Yeah, her eyeshadow's sick. Did you see how fast she put it on?
Yeah, and she falls in love with a man who's ugly.
Also, that hair and that dress, serving.
Yeah. Alan Cumming as the other character.
Yeah, I really like the Bog King's character. I liked his whole entourage.
Yeah, honestly, like I do think he like whenever it was him in his lair, it was the more interesting parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, I wish we could have like really sped through the first part. Like I think we really could have sped up the Fairy Kingdom part and had more Bog King.
Yeah, because especially because with Marianne, I think that was one thing with her relationship with Roland. At no point did I feel invested in it because we're just presented as just like, oh, I'm ready to get married, and then they're just like dancing around. Like it didn't feel like nuance in their relationship. It's just like, oh, suddenly he's kissing another woman. It's just like, all right, I guess they're not getting married.
I feel like that's like a common thing in musicals where we're like, and now the bridge is coming and the story has changed. Well, like it goes real fast.
Before she finds Roland macking on another lady, she is Dawn for the most part. Like she and Dawn are like literally like the exact same person, give or take. And she's also like head over heels in love and bubbly and, you know, naive, I guess is maybe the right word. And so I think that's the real change is the like going from the like, oh my God, I'm not even thinking about these kinds of things to like every man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I think it would have been nice to see like her and Dawn interact before that, because there is also some contrast up to that point where, you know, Dawn seems to like fall in love with every guy she sees and seems focused on one person, and so I think you could also compare that because, you know, when Marianne spots Roland cheating, she is devastated, where I feel like if Dawn spots like someone she was interested in last week kissing another woman, she might be disappointed, but she wouldn't have the same heartbreak.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but she wasn't engaged.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna marry Aaron or whoever.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't as committed, and I think that would have been like a cool contrast to see and add more depth to the story.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and like speaking of music, the songs just don't hit for me.
Yeah, that is why I do wish we could have seen the ones with the Beatles. I imagine like the movie that exists in George Lucas's heart is a little better than this one, but they do have some pretty good, especially some of them are like mashups because this was like at the end of the Glee era. They've got some good ones. The like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think I was just waiting for like, or hoping for one to just blow me away, because I do feel like most musicals need at least one showstopper, but I didn't get that, and like most of them were just like okay to subpar for me.
I'm gonna be honest, I did not like their "Love Is Strange" cover. That's a Wings song.
Yeah,
or no, that's Paul McCartney, and they did not do a good job with it.
Yeah, because it was something where like when I looked at the cast, it was like, oh, this is actually a cast real experience with musicals and theater, and I think maybe someone who is more knowledgeable about music can go more in depth, but it seemed like somewhere between the arrangement and the voice direction, it wasn't clicking, and I felt like given the cast, everyone should have sounded better.
Yeah, I think they sounded fine. I think it just like some of them didn't integrate as well as I would have liked. It felt less like someone was like, I'm going to write a musical. And someone else was like, okay, here's your plot. Here's like 5 songs. Pick one, find a way to get it in there.
Yeah, because considering they wanted a bunch of Beatles songs but couldn't afford it, I am wondering like what other songs they had in mind and like how many did they go to get through the track list they have.
There actually was just going to be a Rolling Stones rock opera with Beatles songs interplayed. It was originally going to have a production cost of like $535 million.
Originally, they were just going to do Rock of Ages, but with fairies. And then they were like, Disney was like, nope.
Yeah, it's like at some point they were looking at the budget. So it's like, all right, we can have all the songs we want and animate this with like construction paper, or we could like go for some cheaper songs.
Yeah, or this. I will say this about the animation. It really did hold up. I thought it was going to look like kind of wonky looking back on it, and then I think it really held up.
Everything but Sunny's face.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Sunny. Because with all the fairies, they kind of gave him a bit of Disney-fied phase where, you know, it was clearly cartoonish. Sunny's was just too close to reality.
It looks like they cut off someone's head and then gave him a troll's hairstyle and then put him onto a troll's body and then like stretched the skin back so it like was proportional or something. That was...
I can't defend that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a good argument for that, but that actor was in Hairspray, so
Bog King looked great. All the fairies look great. I liked all the little dark forest creatures, like when she keeps bringing out suitors for the Bog King, and it's just like various grotesque. It's like the fly that's like flying and it's got those like long dangly arms.
My favorite was the cockroach with the big hips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're just jotting down ideas. It's like, all right, what if she brings out a cockroach? It's like, but how does the audience know the cockroach is hot?
She puts on lipstick and goes, "Bow, bow, bow, wow."
The Sugar Plum Fairy should not be making love potions. It doesn't even seem like she believes in it. She's like, no, I shouldn't. And then they're like, come on. And she's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. And then she's like, the only thing that can break it is true love. So it's like, so what do you think you've been doing this whole time?
Yeah, it's...
Well, why did you start making them? Unless it was like, the only reason you make them is to like test people's true love.
That'd actually be pretty solid. It just, the other thing is they do not turn into regular people after it's a real obsession vibe.
Yeah.
It is just like, oh, okay, so you're the only person that exists and I'm gonna sing the same song over and over again while looking directly at you.
Yeah.
It's like a real like Viagra started out as a heart medicine kind of thing where she's like, I've created a potion that if you're really in love with someone, it will detect that. And then someone's like, you can also use this to make someone fall in love with you in like a weird way. And she's like, fuck. Well, lady's got to make a living.
Yeah. Like Strange Magic 2 is just strange magic learning consent.
What would Strange Magic 2 be about? I don't even know where you'd push this story.
It'd be about Bog King and Marianne's kid, old school style. And I don't know what they're getting up to, but maybe exploring things outside of the fairy and kingdom.
Honestly, I'm thinking Strange Magic 2, they find there's a new kingdom next door that wasn't mentioned at all in Strange Magic. And that has a king who wants to push his anti-love agenda against them. So they just got to do the same thing over and over.
It ends in a polycule. Or what if they just remade, this is a play on Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes.
What if the next one was just a play on Footloose and there's a neighboring town where they banned music and they've got to go sing, or they banned dancing. Yeah, that's it. That's what they did in Footloose. I've never seen it. I just know they banned dancing or music.
I have some news for you about the plot of Trolls 2.
Do they ban dancing and music?
They try to turn everything into rock and roll, but through mind control. But I feel like that's...
What an anti-rock and roll agenda.
Is it Like all classic rock?
For the most part, it's got like AC/DC and stuff.
Huh. I'm honestly kind of surprised that one was for the parents.
You'd be surprised. I fell in love with the Gambler from Strange Magic because he has that one-off where he starts singing the Gambler. Bog King starts singing the Gambler, and I was like, "What's this song? I like this a lot."
Yeah. I mean, also like I do feel like some scenes are a bit repetitive and unnecessary. Like I feel like there were too many scenes of like Marianne repeatedly rejecting Roland. Like I think at a certain point it's like, all right, we get it. You hate him. We don't have to like keep seeing you two together. And then also the whole subplot of the imp stealing the love potion. It felt like something just to stall time.
I mean, but also if it is based on A Midsummer's Night Dream, that is basically, he is like the Puck essentially. And I don't know if it completely drives the plot, but it also was funny to see a turtle fall in love with a mouse and a fairy fall in love with a frog.
Yeah, I like the representation of love that doesn't always, it's not just the two, it's not the expectation. Like a fairy can love a frog.
Well, until we find her true love. Until then, she's in love with the frog.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We have a short king getting together at the end. I feel like that's all the representation we need.
There you go.
There you go. Oh my God, Sunny's gonna become king, I think.
Wouldn't like Marianne have to die first?
No, because I think Marianne would join Bog King and become Bog Queen. I think they'd maybe still keep the kingdom separate. And then Dawn becomes queen and Sunny becomes king alongside her.
Oh, I kind of pictured Bog King rebuilding his castle right on the border.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cute.
I don't know if you'd want Marianne to have to live in the dark forest for all her life.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a 10-minute journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. One thing I was thinking about, because all the characters are in this world, they're just shrunk so that they're shorter than blades of grass. How big do you think the kingdom actually is? Because when I think about it, I think each side is like the size of a parking lot.
45 feet.
Yeah, parking lot. Maybe like a small park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, an iguana seems to have a good space to run around. So,
yeah.
Whatever size of habitat an iguana needs.
They are really small. Like normally elves aren't that small.
Yeah.
But
I think they were kind of meant to be a representation of brownies, which are a different kind of fairy. It's usually what you think of when you think of like Keebler elves or like
Gotcha.
You know, like the ones that steal shoes.
I thought the critter was fun. I thought him and Sunny's interactions were fun.
Yeah, he was cute, but also I was like, he's not marketable enough.
Yeah. Like
we need plushies of this thing.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
He's not plushy.
I just found him kind of annoying.
Oh, okay. I liked him. I thought he was fun.
He's impish, and he's an imp.
He drove the plot forward. Sunny never makes it to the Fairy Plum Queen
without
Sugar
Plum Fairy, without the imp's help.
Yeah, but that's one of those things where it's like he only doesn't do that because the writers made it so. Like practically, I feel like there isn't a huge reason to make it extremely hard to find.
It didn't make sense that Sunny would be able to find it, though. A forest he's never been in.
Yeah, and she's kept in the king's dungeon, which makes sense because the king's the one who he's like, no more love potion. You locked up. No more primroses.
Yeah, but I mean, from what we've seen, his lair is like on top of this mountain that's like 10 feet from the border. It should be easily findable.
It took Roland like 45 minutes to get there.
Okay, but
it's not a matter of finding it. It's a matter of actually entering. Because if he didn't get shown that weird hole, he would have had to infiltrate the castle and then, which I'm not saying it wouldn't have been possible, but then infiltrate the castle and then get down to the dungeon and then find the Sugar Plum Fairy.
There's also just a line of mushrooms up to the castle. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not saying he wouldn't be able to find the castle. I'm saying the infiltration part might have been more of a pain.
Chances are there's lines of mushrooms to all sorts of places.
Yeah. He follows the line of mushrooms the wrong way, and he's like, "Oh shit, it's the end of the world."
Also, I thought that was a good bit of telephone.
Yeah, that was
really
funny.
good
I
bit.
like the interactions between his two closest henchmen, where they're like, "No, you're better at it. You need to do it."
They were just the two guys from Hades, or not from Hades, from Hercules, but it worked.
Yeah.
It really worked.
I think you were right. The Dark Forest is kind of the more interesting part of it. You don't really get that many characters other than the main characters in the Fairy Kingdom.
Now, if they had explored like a weird socioeconomical race class structure in the Fairy Kingdom, would it be more interesting, or would it just be like a really bad metaphor?
I also think the elves should have been more supportive of Sunny and been like, look, we get it. Everyone wants the Ferocity, but we're elves. We can't be going around doing love potions, all right?
Yeah.
But like, I get it.
I mean, there clearly is a class system because at the elves dance, Roland comes in and he pulls a he just chucks elves out of the dance line. He's like, I'm gonna dance now, and no one stops him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who wants to interact with a dick at a party?
Yeah. And he's the chief of police, basically, so.
They're just trying to celebrate. Also, he has a kick-ass squirrel with a really sick helmet.
And a saddle.
That thing could probably just tear apart the entire kingdom if it decided to.
Yeah, it's crazy he rides the squirrel when he can fly.
Yeah.
Sonic can run fast, but he drives a car. Are you saying Sonic shouldn't drive a car?
Sonic drives a car?
Yes, in Sonic Racers.
Is that canon?
The game exists.
I mean, I played Sonic Riders where everyone's on hoverboards.
He has skateboards too.
Yeah, but in that game, the fast characters still go faster.
That's fair. I don't know. You get tired, your legs hurt, and like there's all this weird shit in the Dark Forest, and their wings seem delicate. I think it's good that he rides the squirrel.
That is a thought I kept having where I'm like, there's no way any of these fairies have wings left. Those are the most fragile looking things I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, they're like butterfly wings.
Yeah, butterfly wings. She tripped and fell down a cliff face and just dragged her wings on it. Those things will be gone.
Oh, knock on wood for Marianne.
She also got stuck in a butterfly net. Like, you can't get butterflies or a
Spider
web.
Yeah, you can't get butterflies out of spider webs. Their webs just, ugh.
Ooh.
I'm not talking well today.
Yeah, honestly, a spider would have been an interesting thing to bring out in the Dark Forest, considering like they're like their size. That would have actually been scary.
There were a couple, but they just weren't like walking around like, "Hey, what are we doing?"
There should have been like a wolf or something.
Oh, God.
Like a truly giant creature.
She suddenly turns into Attack on Titan. we have to our differences between the Dark Forest and the Fair Kingdom must put them aside.
It's
to
something.
defeat the wolf.
It's something like you know how like wolves and dogs will just sniff around and lick random things playing around. It's like the wolf isn't even trying to get them. The wolf is just doing puppy things, and it's just wrecking the entire village.
Yes, that's strange magic too. Let's get it made. Come on, George. Come on, George. You got so much Star Wars money. Grogu didn't make it. People didn't like Grogu, George. They'll love strange magic too.
Netflix, you did K-pop Demon Hunters. We can make this happen. Strange Magic 2. I'm sure Disney will give you the IP.
Now it's time for our concessions. This is where I give 3 things I liked about the film, and Chris gives 3 things she didn't.
You want to start doing?
Yeah. I'll say Mistreated, the song the Bog King does at the dance. I like that one. That was a good one. That like the arrangement was good. It really fit his voice.
Yes. I back that up. The uncanny valley of some of the characters kind of freaked me out, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah. And also talked about earlier, what I feel once Marianne is in the Bog King's lair, the scenes get really fun. She has really good interaction with the Bog King, and the final act battle was a lot of fun to watch.
Some of the songs were momentum killers. Like I'd be like jiving along and enjoying it, and then the song, they'd start singing, I'd be like, ooh, that's not a good song. Primarily the Strange Magic one. Like, I was genuinely interested. I was like, love potions are interesting, all this different stuff. What's the like backstory? And then she started singing that song, and I was just like, oh, that's a bad song.
Yeah,
I gotta disagree with you. I love Kristen Chenoweth. She could sing anything, and I'd be like,
the thing is, I love that song.
oh, yeah. I've never heard that song before, so this is the best version of that song I've ever heard.
Yeah,
so.
It's like,
I mean, for me, the movie, because generally with musicals, it's a rule that like you sing because the characters have so much emotion they can't just talk. And I feel like leading up to the songs in this movie, the characters weren't taken to that emotional level. I think Roland as a character, they did a good job making fun of him, as they should. Like, he was clearly not to be taken seriously, and I think they did a good job of that.
it could have been 20 minutes longer. This is the first time in the history of this podcast that I'm saying this, but it could have been 10 to 20 minutes longer with a bit more filling. I was lying earlier when I was disagreeing with you about the beginning. I actually agreed that it needed another 5 to 10 minutes to establish. And I don't know. I just wanted more. Like, I just felt like it could have been a bit richer.
Yeah, because also like the very beginning where they have the narration, the map to introduce the world, it almost felt like they were forced to do it. Like, they had one screening for the producers, and the producers were like, you kind of gotta explain it a bit, and they were like, fine, and just add like 3 lines to shut them up.
Yeah. We're like, okay, Jesus.
I might have misheard that opening, but I thought it was about to be like a pro love potion movie. I thought they were all gonna be like, love potions are great, and then as the movie goes on, you find out they're bad, and I was like, that's gonna be brutal.
When you said that, I'm just imagining a movie where it's just like, all right, everyone's on love potion. At the very beginning, it's fun, it's partying. Then by the end of the movie, everyone's just like, yeah, I lost my house because I couldn't hold down a job to these love potions.
They took my teacup away. My house is a teacup. It's turned upside down.
Yeah, it's like now people watch those ads like cigarette ads with the people that need the device to speak. Is like, don't get hooked on love potions.
The other one is, I thought that what was going to happen. I thought that the movie was going to be contrived in a way where Marianne does get hit with the love potion and gets dragged back to the fairy kingdom with Roland. And then the king wises up about the fact that the situation is shitty. And then the bog king like busts through during the wedding and says that he loves Marianne in like a Shrek 2 kind of a thing.
Well, Shrek 1 also.
Shrek 1.
It happens in Shrek 1 also.
I mean, yeah, that would have been interesting, I think.
Yeah, I thought it could have been like a final part to it.
Yeah. I will say I like her reaction in this film because when she said with the love potion, I was sitting there thinking like, all right, now punch him in the face.
And she did.
Yeah. She did. And she even played it. Yeah. She played him to get closer. Yeah. All right, we should probably get to the end.
Yeah. All right, now it's time for our closing arguments. Despite good intentions, none of the aspects of Strange Magic are able to elevate the story enough to make it memorable. All it does is waste a great voice cast and world. I give it one trip to the dark forest, but Roland's bug wife is in charge.
Strange Magic is a film that leaves viewers delighted with the full embrace of love in all its possible forms. I give it 4 out of 5 tiny fairies sleeping on flowers.
Aw.
Neassa, any final thoughts?
I will say this. I wish the ending number had been stronger. Like, I feel like the ending number of like several Shrek movies is like really, you're just like, whoa, end of movie. The last number, I was like, oh, it's over, we can go. And then I was like, oh, nope, still going.
Yeah, because I feel it's funny because I feel like this is just after that era where every animated film ended in a musical number dance party. And it's like, oh, this was almost right for that era.
It really was. End of an era, really, 2015.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the song Marianne sang when she was declaring her love and she told the Bog King to stop singing?
It's a rock song, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm blanking.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Also, make more rock operas, rock whatever. Please, anyone.
It was it just it was either Straight On or Strange Magic.
It wasn't Strange Magic.
I think it was, no, I don't know if it was Straight On.
I'm just looking at the track list because I don't remember the names of most of the songs.
It was
One of the very last songs.
Hang on. All right, let's finish it off and I'll find it while we're talking.
All right. Well, Neassa, thank you for coming on the podcast. And where can people follow you?
You can find me everywhere under Loch Nessa, LOCHNEASSA. I'm posting a lot on Instagram and TikTok. I talk a lot about tabletop role-playing games and Star Trek.
Wild Thing.
Wild Thing.
That was the song.
Okay.
I think you're saying the Wild Thing was the combination of tabletop role-playing games and Star Trek, and I was like, Chris, you know me.
Well, you are a wild thing, but thank you so much for coming on, Nessa.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. So this has been another episode of Film versus Movie. Give us a like and 5 stars wherever you listen. I'm Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Chris Shurr.
And we will see you all next time.